What's up, guys? Dominic here again, and I just wanted to make a short video because about 10 minutes ago, the Artemis rocket set some sort of record about the farthest distance traveled by any human from the Earth. And they said the last time it happened was in 1970. And this woman right here, she's going to go on talking about it. And she gives a little speech about how the crew of the Artemis is achieving new frontiers and they're pushing the envelope for humanity and all this other rhetoric. But just look at this image. They aren't even close to the moon yet. They still have to go around the moon. So how is it that this is the furthest that anyone's gone when they aren't even close to the moon? And the moon is 238,900 miles. They said the furthest someone traveled was 248,000 miles. So that's a little bit past the moon's distance. Now, I know that we can only be uncertain relative to our positioning in relation to the particles moving all around us in space. Meaning that uncertainty is to be had when we're trying to judge the distance based off of moving objects, especially when this is the quality of image that we're being used to judge this by. But how is it that this is the furthest anyone has traveled and they're setting some sort of record and they aren't even close to the moon? And they're supposed to go around the moon. They're supposed to loop around it and go even farther than what they're going now. So this would imply, to me at least, that their $70 million a day budget is being spent inefficiently. Especially considering this is the image we've got. And there are some other images too. It shows the crew working on the spaceship, and I think that they're congratulating each other here. They're working. That's what NASA says. But just answer me that, guys. How is it that this is the farthest we've ever gone and they aren't even close to the moon, but past missions have actually put people on the moon and supposedly farther? I don't know. I must be missing something, because their stories just don't add up in my mind. But let's take a look at what we did get out of this mission around the moon. We got a new image of the Earth. And from what I heard, from what they're saying, is this is actually the Earth eclipsing the sun from the perspective of the photographer. So I don't really know how that happens, but aside from that, it looks pretty similar, and that's really all I have to say about it. But I don't really know what this white dot is here, if that's supposed to be the sun or if that's supposed to be another celestial object or what. But I just had to point this out, guys, is if this is the farthest that any person has ever traveled into space, and they aren't even close to the moon, when did we ever go to the moon? I would say never. Furthermore, what kind of record even really is this to be set in any way? The government has full control and authority of determining when people leave to go fly missions to the moon or not. So really, they're just breaking their own record which they gatekeep because they have the technology to go to the moon or go to space, supposedly. There's only a handful of private corporations which have successfully launched rockets. And even those corporations are dependent on government assets. So really, it's just a meaningless record to begin with, because theoretically, this record could have been broken decades ago if there wasn't so many barriers to do scientific achievements like this, which supposedly civilization values. But instead, we mostly devote our science to war, and this is pretty much how the space race is viewed as anyway. It's just a military operation against a foreign country. That's how it was. That's how it started originally, against the Soviet Union, with competing against the United States. What's really changed? Because now we're in another war, and now they're launching more rockets to space, conducting missions. Really, all it is another theater of war to divide and segment the people's attention from what really matters, the parasitic ruling class who rules over them and distracts them with things like this. And besides, guys, this has been playing. This is not paused. Now it's paused. I mean, it looks like a still image. And this is humanity traveling farther than they ever have before. So guys, really it comes down to distraction, theater, dividing the people with stage play that ultimately means nothing. Even if we really are going to the moon, even if we really are sending people into space and doing all this other great scientific achievements, what is it really doing for the people here on this place that they're supposedly taking pictures of? Not a whole lot. Spending $70 million a day when the toilets in the space shuttle cost tens of millions of dollars. And they feel the need to report on that smelling like burnt steak or some sort of meat or something. It's all nonsense. Just like the war in Iran is nonsense. It's a military operation designed to divide the people's attention of America and get them fixated on arbitrary records, which the government gatekeeps in the first place. Because, as I said, no one can leave this place without the government's approval, because they control the vast majority of the resources and decide what to do with it. And what they've decided to do with the resources mostly is not to make this world we live on better, but to divide the resources on the planet amongst themselves in an uneven fashion. And this works out bad for the people who live on this place, and it works out bad for the place itself. The Earth does not need humans to live on it, launching rockets into space, sucking up all these precious metals to fund these or supply these rockets and missions. It would do just fine without us. So really all the government's done is reject the very planet we live on, while supposedly taking these pictures of the Earth, propping themselves up as some sort of savior or protector of it, when they're anything but. And that's my video, guys. I just had to document this event, or the supposed record they broke today, which not only do I not believe, because I don't think that they can go past the Van Allen belts. I think that that will fry them. Although the way that they had the rocket circulate around the Earth looks like they're trying to get around the Van Allen belts, so I'll give them credit for making it look more realistic. Despite the fact that I don't believe it, it doesn't even matter, because the government is just ultimately breaking their own record, claiming it's for the people, claiming it's for the betterment of this place right here. But really, all it does is divide the people's attention so that they can go and divide further more resources amongst themselves at the expense of the people and the planet. And that's my video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again.